Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Doggone it. 5:50 a.m. in the morning, and I am up. So I'm gonna give people time enough to get in here. Uh, I didn't play any intro music because I didn't feel like it right now. I got something on my mind that I got to talk about, and I want to say I woke up to some bull, real bull. You know, I usually don't try to talk politics because I see how it divides and it's misshaping people. But right now, over at MU's platform, there was a question: should people be given illiteracy tests in order to vote? Now, history shows us, and it tells us that America has never treated the black man right in this country at all, period, even up until now. But she's sitting over there on MU's platform, which is supposed to be trumpets. I call them trumpets platform. A bunch of white guys. Let's put it this way: white guys. One black guy up there, Uncle Claude, which he was, and I'm not going to get on you, Uncle Claude, about sleeping because we all need our rest. But then I see QI up there arguing a point with like one, two, three, maybe four or five different white guys up on the platform. Them you sitting up there trying to be semi uh, okay with it, but then again, she mutes the mics and let the guys talk their shit. The thing about that is, my feelings is, why are you having a conversation, supposedly MU as a black woman, and I'm going to question that in a few, about turning back the clock to a time where black people weren't allowed to vote, women weren't allowed to vote, people weren't allowed to do anything except work in the fields and cater to the master. There's been a lot going on in politics that people don't know about and don't seem to want to discuss, but let's talk about it. The economy over in this country is bad. Things are getting to the point to where they're redistricting states to try to make it that the Republican Party has an advantage or over the rights for people to vote. Now they come up with this now they're talking about a literacy test over there on our platform. And the thing about it is, I don't see any black men over there saying that bullshit. I'm just saying, Uncle Claude, you're up there because you and him, you are a moderator. But a moderator shouldn't be falling asleep and letting the panel get all crazy. Then again, there's times when we can't hear you up there. I couldn't hear you. Uh, MU made a statement she was going to bed, and she left QI up there with basically racist ass people, white people, and a couple of them didn't even live in this country. That's another thing. When a person has a person from out of the country up on their platform, trying to tell Americans about their problems, what they need to do, and especially if they're black, even though QI says he's Choctaw Indian and all that stuff, it looks kind of fishy to me. It looks as if MU wants to be popular, but the thing that she chose to be popular with is not very popular in this country. Let's face it. People are starving themselves, basically, trying to make ends meet, basically. We have homelessness. We have the mental illness concept being thrown out the window. We have and I'm going to talk about it, different communities being ostracized, the gay community, the transgender community, which are human beings in this country, all because the president decided to become a king or a dictator. And I'm going to say it, yes, become a king or a dictator. When you take your name and you put it on names of buildings that people have been used to, you take things like the Gulf of Mexico, which myself as a child was taught in school about, to change it to the Gulf of America, to try to show people that you're all about America when you're really not. You're really not. The things I think that she should really be talking about, her candidate with the Epstein files and all that, they're not talking about it. Oh, no, 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 no. But they will sit around and try to play up like Black people always play the race card. Let me tell you something. If I hadn't played the race card, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Okay. There were a lot of times when I wasn't given a job because of the color of my skin, you know. And as far as illiteracy goes, I've never been illiterate. And they think that all Black people are illiterate up on her platform. I'm saying that, and I'm going to continue to talk about it, because it doesn't make any sense for MU to be a Black woman and then a majority of her panel is white men and one Black woman that she's allowing them to sit up there and call her ignorant and all this stuff. Yeah, QI has a big mouth and she talks a lot, but still, there's such a thing as respecting women. And these men get on her platform and show me that they don't care about women. They don't care about themselves or us when it comes to the political side of the world. You know, you can make a point that, yeah, this is the internet and we shouldn't get upset about it, but I'm upset about the things that are going on here that's being swept under the rug, like in dismantling everything in this country and setting it up for a dictatorship. We're going to have to beg him for this, beg him for that. You know, I'm hoping and I'm praying that Black people do come together and get together and show that, hey, look, politics do make strange bedfellows. And over there at MU's, all I've seen in the bed with her is white folks. Okay? I haven't seen a Black person come up there and give their point of view as far as Trump goes. Well, maybe for just Krista. And we know how we all want to try to stick together and be popular with one another. But when it comes to being able to express your opinion as a Black person, you don't have a fair advantage on her channel. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't care no more. Like I said, 1776 was supposed to be their Independence Day. No, it's my Independence Day now, because I'm tired of Black folks arguing about things that they should be really protesting about, doing the things that they need to do. Stop buying that expensive shit. Stop trying to tear one another down when another person is struggling, because that's the way they want it. They want you to argue with each other about the lightness and darkness of your skin. And let me tell you, all slaves in the master's quarters were not dark-skinned people. Let's go there. You know, we wouldn't have light-skinned Black people if it hadn't been for the race mixing, and we wouldn't have the dark-skinned people. But one thing I do want to say is that watching young people of today, it's all about being selfish. It's all about being on top, being popular. It's not about taking care of family or anything like that. When you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, like some of those people over there on our platform, you have a tendency to wonder, what have you done for the country lately? And especially when I listen to foreigners that don't even live over here, that jump into the politics of America And their government is so messed up. Countries that where people like QI, people like James Caldwell, and all the people that are of the LBGQ community wouldn't even be able to exist because their government would execute them some kind of form, shape, form, or fashion. Countries where women don't have the right to speak out. Like I said, I haven't seen a woman yet up on her panel from another country. It's always a foreign men that are up there. Yeah, there's some Americans here, but we know where they're from, the deep South. They want to revert back to slavism and everything else. So I don't expect and I don't appreciate people that have no sense of decorum, number one. Number two, they just throw up things on their platform to try to be popular to get all the people up there. Like I said, I live off of replays and I don't care who hears what I say. I'm not up here trying to be the best that I can be because I know I'm not the best I can be, number one. But I hate it when I see a black woman such as supposedly MU sit up there and let a bunch of white men jump QI, regardless of the situation. Now, politics make strange bedfellows. Yes, that's true. But the fellows that she's in bed with right now, you need to think about it, look at them and wonder. I'm not going to sit up here and, like I said, I know how the internet works. When you throw up a subject about something, other people will listen. They'll go over there and listen to you for a minute. Then they'll go over there and form their opinions. But like I said, the politics that MU is trying to show, to me, it divides us as a people, black or white. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how they look at it. As a black man, sister, you shouldn't be, and I'm kind of questioning the sister motive. You shouldn't be letting white men talk to black women as they do. Yeah, QI has a big mouth and all that stuff, but there's such a thing as equality. And you don't want to give equality to black people at all. That's the way I feel about it. You know, you make excuses. You make excuses for them. Yeah. There's nothing that I'm proud of that you're doing right now when it comes to the men up on your panel. And like I said before, silence is golden, I can't be silent anymore. Not when I see black women being talked about. And it's gotten to the point, even in politics, to where the white man comes up there and always wants to jump that woman if they don't agree with her. I'm not going to sweat it, but I know one thing: we as black people have to watch what we're watching on YouTube, form our own opinions, and say that no, it ain't right. It ain't right. There was an old saying, white is right, black get back. All that bullshit back in the day. And it seems like to me, these so-called political analysts on MU's platform is saying that to me and to QI right now. There is no decorum. She's trying to be popular with a group of people that I see want to turn the clock back another 100 years, back to 200 years, back to the time of segregation, back to the time when women weren't allowed to do certain things. You know, you can speak a good voice, but you can't show a good voice. I'm not going to reiterate that politics makes strange bedfellows, but I'm not going to be in bed with a person that they want me to see it their way all the time, especially when it comes to treating people differently, you know, especially when it comes to treating people as if they're not good. Hey, Grandma Love, I just clicked on my comment section. Good morning, dear. Yeah, I understand that. Good morning to everybody. I had just clicked on my thing. So good morning, Grandma Love. I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand. I understand why you do that. C. Supreme, Miss Candy Cane. Yeah, yeah. But me being a man and a black man at that, I see things for what they are. And with her, it's about being popular on that screen. And I noticed that at one time when they were talking about her and the breast being out and the chest being out, that she changed her way of wardrobe and all that. I don't care how she dresses up there because to me, that attracts attention, but sometimes it attracts some wrong attention. Like I said, it's a shame. It's a shame. So once again, people, I'm not bitter or anything like that. I'm just questioning motives now as things go on. You read their chat and it's like, wow, wow. Mm-mm-mm. Like I said, there's a lot of hatred in this world still toward black people. And I don't care how YouTube or MU tries to describe it or what she says. She's sitting up there acting as if you're trying to appease everybody. You can't appease everybody. I'm not going to appease and take things lightly as a black man anymore, and especially you trying to be a black woman. And I've seen them white men up there being disruptive and crazy to QI. Like I said, QI does have points and she does have her meaning, but you allowed that on your platform tonight. And you can come back and cry and say anything, everybody's against you and all that. But MU, you're not a politician. You're not a politician. You chose Trump because of what he stood for as far as being a racist. Yes, he is one. He's also being accused of things with the Epstein court case, something that you won't touch or talk about. And I want to thank you, Ronnie Q, for showing us everything differently, and also to K Fit. Like I said, she will not debate a real person, somebody that will talk to her and give her facts. She goes along with the facts of Fox News. That's the only news that you ever look at. Yeah, you might throw CNN up there when somebody says that's the only thing you look at. But there's other news besides the world. Fox, even CNN, there's the BBC, there's Newsweek, Times, and all that. But you are in a political realm to where, good morning, Candy Cane, you're in a political realm to where you're one track minded when it comes to politics. You don't like Kamala Harris. You didn't like Obama. you know, two black people that one made history, one trying to make history. You didn't like them and their politics, but did you vote for them? That's the question. Did you vote for them? But you rode their coattails as being a black person, right? I'm going to say it like that. You rode their coattails. We all did. Then you want to talk about Joe Biden. Yeah, people have done things in the past. If we bring up your past, you want to get salty about it. But you sit there and you listen to Trump bring up Joe Biden's past. Trump is not a guy. Trump is not a king. Trump is just a man that happens to have money. And how did he get it? By stealing it off the back of the immigrants that he tried to throw out of this country. So let's face it, none of them are really being honest with anything. Okay? We can come up here and say that we're equal. No, we're not equal. We're not equal. Not in the eyes of the world. We're not equal. We're being used still as black people against each other. Black people that want to voice their opinions, but other blacks shut them out because they're popular with the white folks. And I'm going to say it, popular with the white folks. And I don't care what comes up is going to come out this morning, because like I said, they're talking about the United States and their independence in 1776. That was the white man's independence. I'm 76 years old, and this is going to be my independence. I don't care about your politics. I don't care about you and the war in Iran. I don't care until this president realizes that he has a country to run instead of trying to run everybody else's business, even with the terrorists, using that as a threat against different countries. You're not going to silence me on that political view. Like I said, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And every time you look around, it's always our fault. No, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. We didn't write the Constitution. We had people in there that changed it because they want the betterment of the world. But now we have people in there that want to reverse the Constitution. And I'm asking people, do you want to go back to where you had to take a literacy test to vote? To me, that's even crazier. That's even crazier. They want to pass a law that makes it illegal if you're not, quote unquote, as they say, literate enough to vote. What is literacy? What makes a person illiterate? I don't get it. When it comes to politics, there's always some bullshit thrown in the game. There's always some bullshit thrown in the game. I'm just going to uphold the people that are truly fighting for this country and not fighting to keep their silver spoons in their mouth, not fighting to be able to have a better way of living because they already got it made in the shade, as they say. Show me what you do in life, in real life, real time, to where you go out and you help people, you serve people. Talk about women's rights being reverted because of the people that your president put in office in the Supreme Court. Talk about the rights of those women. that were caught up in the Epstein file when your buddy Trump was over there, and his wife Melania, because she's connected. All of them are connected. Yeah, but I've seen the rich do some atrocious things. But as a poor Black woman and man, we seem to forget that we still have a struggle. We have a struggle within our own self. You know, there's always the haves and the have-nots. And those haves always want to try to take over the internet, persuade Black people that it's okay for them to bow down to them. It's okay for them to, excuse me, okay for them to accept being called the N-word, you know, even jokingly. No. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And I want to reiterate, growing up during the 60s and in the civil rights struggle, all white people weren't that way. There were some that did die in the civil rights struggle, amen, all that good stuff. But there are those that no matter how they try to sugarcoat it or how they try to, as they say, whitewash it, they still don't want the Black man to get ahead or the Black woman to get ahead. I'm not going to stay here long. I'm going to go back on the internet and listen to these fools. No, I'm not going to listen to them, but I'm going to listen to other people and to see if they want to try to come together as a unit. And when I mean unit, I mean Black, white, Hispanic, and all those that want to come together and make this country better, leaving out the politics. Democrats and Republicans should be working together, even independents. But I'm not going to work with you when you're trying to whitewash me out of the equation. When you try to make like that illiteracy should be part of the Voting Rights Act. We all have a right to vote. We all have a right to vote, men and women, and even the LGBTQ community. So let's not play politics on here with me, because I can tell you, I made it possible for you to have what you got, even though you may have got it being crooked, even though you may have got it ostracizing people, cheating people out of their wages. Good morning, Terry. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just, and believe it or not, I just seen some other people up here. I'm just so sick and tired of people on here want to be popular when the shit that you're trying to be popular for isn't for everybody, especially for Black people, especially for people that are of different races and ethnicity. I can't see it. I can't see it. I cannot see it anymore. Now, you can call it a fallout. You can call it what you want to. But I'm not going to sit idly by at 76 years old and watch the younger, and I consider her that generation tearing things down that Black folks have fought so hard for. For her to be able to even get up here and shoot her rhetoric. But then when you sleep with the enemy, oh no, I got to call you out. I got to call you out. And tonight, she was sleeping with the enemy, y'all. She was sleeping with the enemy. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, it's ironic that we want to be popular, but we're popular about the wrong things. You know, like I said, when you're born with the silver spoon in your mouth, either when you marry into it or come back in a windfall. You don't forget where you come from. You don't throw those that are behind you. You try to pull them up too. They say we have a crab mentality on here. I'm not being a crab. I'm gonna reach out to people that really want to have something to say when it comes to politics. Your rights as a Black person is slowly being washed away. But yet he wants our sons and daughters to join the military and get out there and fight. Mm-mm. No, no. As Black people, I'm telling you, if this war keeps on, which was an unofficial startup by him, not Congress, keeps on and they implement the draft, you do like they did in the 60s, even if you're not rich. You send your kids off to Canada. You send them to a country to where they don't have to worry about being drafted into the army or just refuse to go. Because I'm tired of fighting the white man's war. It's time for us to fight the Black people's war. And it's not against white folks. It's against those that are still out there thinking that we should be slaves. Still thinking that they want to turn back the clock to the hands of time with history, to rewrite history even, so that we're not right. Yes, I understand what you're saying, Candy Cane. Yeah. But in a political sense that I'm looking at, she is not. She's not a Black woman thinking, Black woman's thoughts. You know, I have relatives that live in Palm Springs. And trust me, dear, they are well to do. They are well to do. But they don't look down on me or anybody else because they made it. They made it. And they're still making it. And these are young people. But they don't get caught up in the who's right or who's wrong, because right now it's hurting him. The price of gas, the cost of food. He calls me and talks to me about it. Just because you live in Palm Springs doesn't make you better off than anybody else. Because you're able to travel more, go some places, doesn't make you better than anybody else. What makes you better is that you have to listen to people. You have to want to give instead of holding on to it. Because when we leave this earth, we can't take that damn money with us. And we sure in the hell, you're talking about passing it down. The government can mess around and take everything from you. Eminent domain, as they call it. I tell you, people, wake up. Wake up. I'm very disappointed in you tonight from what I've seen. QI, I'm kind of disappointed, but you stood your ground, baby. No white man should call a Black woman ignorant on any panel. Any panel. No white man should say that to a woman. Talk about her like she doesn't have a voice. No man. But especially when I see a white man doing it to a Black woman and it's on a supposedly Black woman's panel, I got to speak out. MU, you're cute and all that, but your brain cells are slow when it comes to the Black women here on YouTube. You got to start thinking. You got to start thinking. And you can get mad with me all you want to. Say all crazy things that you want. But I've seen it for myself throughout history. They ride with their masters. And tonight, Tonight, you crossed the line. You crossed the line. We should get out there and vote now. It's even more needed. And vote for your heart. Vote for what's right. Don't vote because this makes you seem popular, which I see a lot of Black people try to get up here and do. It doesn't make you popular. When you see your country is suffering, just because you got a little bit more than anybody else. No, it doesn't make you popular at all. Not with me. And I'm not picking on you because you're a woman either. So don't use that excuse, because you as a woman allowed other men to jump a Black woman, even though she says she's Choctaw Indian. It's still to be debated or whatever, but she's still a woman. And until you realize that all Black women have been treated as slaves during the time of slavery coming up, then you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it at all. Thank you guys for being up here. Thank all those that came in late or listened to the replay. Like I said, I woke up to some real bull tonight, and I'm just sick of it. Like I said, 1776. If you guys want your independence, speak out on shit that you don't like. Even the way that we're treating each other on here. And especially when it comes to politics, because I was there. I watched the dogs being sicked on our people. I watched our people getting cracked upside the head because they wanted equality. It even goes for the people in the LGBTQIA community, because they marched along with everybody. They did. United we stand, divided we fall. That goes for everybody. And thank all you that came up and listened and left something in the chat. I'm sorry I didn't have my chat on earlier to see you guys. Terry, thank you so much for being here. Candy Cane, I thank you for dropping in. Grandma Love, you know how I feel about you. I just wish some people would have the guts enough to speak out and speak on things. Yeah, I'm old, but I've seen a lot of history when it comes to us Black people. And the way my grandparents were treated, the way my dad was treated, the way the school system worked on us, until we were smart enough to know that, hey, we're not created equal. They didn't believe it then when they wrote those words, and they sure in the hell don't believe it now. With that, you guys, good morning and happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers that I didn't get a chance to say it to. See you guys. Thank you so very much.